just when the Astros and Rockets are letting you down, it's time for us to take a pill, a deep steel blue pill, because your Houston Texans are doing all the right things this offseason. Texans swarm. Guess what, guys? At the NFL owners meetings, the Houston Texans and the things they've done this offseason are getting rave reviews. Specifically moves that brought one guy into the fold. Their exes have unbelievable amounts of compliments. First off, let's talk about Sean McVay. Did you know that new Texans offensive coordinator Nick Caley used to work for Sean McVay? Yeah. He also used to work for Bill Belichick. Greatest football mind ever? I don't know. But here's Sean McVay at the NFL owners meetings talking about Nick Caley and what he brings to the table.
I think the great thing for Nick is he was always preparing to take those next steps while still being totally present in his role. And I think, I go back to even just his foundation, starting with Coach Belichick, and the amount of ball that you're exposed to, doing ball the right way. He was ready. He sees the game through an all-22 lens. I think that he's going to do an excellent job, and he's been preparing himself just based on the way that he approaches every single day.
Swarm! Yeah. Nick Caley? Maybe he can teach the Houston Astros a thing or two about offense. You heard it right there from Sean McVay. Sean McVay thinks Nick Caley is going to do a good job as Texans offensive coordinator. Lock it up. Texans, top 5 offense in 2025.
He has years of experience preparing to be an NFL play caller.
He learned from Bill Belichick, Sean Mapes.
He did. He learned at the right hand of the father.
And then he also learned from Sean McVay, who many are saying is the prophet of football coaching. I
still remember that Super Bowl, but okay.
I do too. They looked bad against Bill Belichick, but Sean McVay also learned from...
He learned from that experience.
Right. And
in
the
Super Bowl.
And so Nick Caley learned from Sean McVay's experience losing to Bill Belichick, in addition to already having been on Bill Belichick's staff. So
he knows the Bill Belichick. He knows how to beat Bill Belichick. He knows it all.
What I heard from Sean McVay there is that Sean McVay knows that Nick Caley knows more ball than he does.
Mm-hmm.
And now Nick Caley's the offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans. And Sean McVay said he's always been ready to call plays. Might have come out of the womb ready to call plays.
Yeah.
I think that first, coaching under Bill Belichick, and second, coaching under Sean McVay, it's a lot like going to Shorecrest Preparatory School in St. Petersburg, Florida, and then Syracuse University in Syracuse, New York.
A lot of people are saying
A lot of people say that. I mean, it's like the highest levels of education you can possibly get, which is what... Oh, yeah, that's what I got. Damn.
Oh, that's weird.
Transitive property. Did Sean McVay also call me a genius? That's what I'm hearing. Deep steel blue pill, engaged and engorged. Guess what? More Texans are being held in high regard by their exes. Here's Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell at the NFL owners meetings talking about Texans' new tackle, Cam Robinson. Swarm!
What kind of football player do they get with Cam? First of all, you notice just the sheer size and length and the physical traits that he has. But I don't know if it's been talked about enough. A guy that comes in, one of the best left tackles in football, and Christian Darrisaw goes down. And Cam Robinson comes into our building on a Wednesday, and we win the next 9 football games we played against some great pass rushers. I just don't know how many times in the league that's happened, but I think that's a credit to Cam and what he's been able to do. He's played a lot of football, and the one thing about the tackle spot is, there's not very many snaps you're not blocking that defensive end. If you aren't, it's probably a run play to the right if you're the left tackle, and those are plays you've had reps at 1,000 times. So I think his transition, he's obviously stepping in for a pretty legitimate player in Laramie that's had a ton of success. So I expect Cam's going to do well.
So for Kevin O'Connell, who's speaking in agentese right there, Cam Robinson stepped in for one of the best left tackles in the NFL, who the Vikings already have.
The wording was a little confusing because he said, one of the best left tackles in the NFL,
Christian
Darrisaw,
Darrisaw.
got hurt, and then we brought in Cam Robinson.
And we win our next 9 games against some great pass rushers. So
Yeah.
credit to Cam. I think he's going to do well. I think they're going to like what he has to offer. And he's going to be stepping in for another great left tackle. So he's done this before. I'm not going to lie. The first time I saw this quote, I thought that Kevin O'Connell was calling Cam Robinson one of the best tackles in football.
So
Then when you factor in Cam Robinson's metrics and how he was the last ranked offensive lineman in the league when it came to one-on-one pass protection.
yeah.
Not great, but guess what? Kevin O'Connell thinks Cam Robinson's good, even though they let him walk.
Well, they won 9 straight games with him.
That's true.
I would sign up for 9 straight wins at any point in the Texans season right now.
I would
sign
too.
up for it, and I think the city would really fall in love with this team if they won 9 straight games.
Well, there's that one time where they won 9 straight games in 2018. We're no
Oh,
but maybe if they win 10.
this time though, people would care.
Texans swarm. Guess what? More new Texans being held in high regard by their ex. Eagles GM Howie Roseman was asked about CJ Gardner-Johnson, who the Eagles traded to the Texans for Kenyon Green. Which does look great for the Texans, but doesn't look great. It looks so bad from the Eagles' perspective, who are the defending Super Bowl champions. You're like, wait a second. What do they know?
And who specialize in the offensive line?
Yes.
So like, wait.
So what do they know about Kenyon Green? And what's wrong with CJ Gardner-Johnson,
Yeah.
who's now on his 5th team? But here's what Howie Roseman had to say. If you're taking the CJ move in just a vacuum, obviously it's not giving the whole perspective of where we're at. Chauncey did a great job for us in both the years that he was with us, obviously making the Super Bowl twice in 2 years with him as our starting safety. When you look at our team and you look at the amount of highly paid players who have earned their contracts, we've got 8 guys who are making $15 million or more. We had from 2022 to 2024 drafts, 8 starters on the Super Bowl team. None of them have long-term contracts. So basically, Howie Roseman is saying, yeah, we just have too many good players. So that's why we traded CJ Gardner-Johnson. So now CJ Gardner-Johnson is a Houston Texan, and it has nothing to do with his play.
No.
It's all about how they just got to pay some of these young guys because they've drafted so well.
They have too many good players, so they had to throw one our way.
Gardner-Johnson is a victim of ageism, and I think Howie Roseman acknowledged it there. So
Yeah, he has a class action lawsuit.
he
on
could
this.
have one for sure against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm feeling a lot better about these new Houston Texans because their exes are talking them up. Does that ever make you nervous when somebody's talking good about their ex?
Oh yeah,
You're like, what are
Yeah.
they hiding?
yeah.
Are they
Well,
just being good
they're
spirit?
on too good of terms.
Right. Like there's always a reason that it ended. What happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
He's Sean behind the glass. I'm Paul Gallant. We hope that Deep Steel Blue Pill helps you feel a little bit better about the Astros' struggles at the plate and the Rockets' loss last night.